Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk, brought to you by Steel. This fall, power up with Steel, a proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Your Iowa John Deere dealers. John Deere loves to see the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if anyone can appreciate building a legacy, it's Deere. Also brought to you by your local Ford dealers. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist, made right here in Iowa since 1895. And by Mid-American Energy. Mid-American Energy is proud to deliver affordable, reliable energy to you all season long. This is Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. Here's Gary Dolphin.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into another week of Hawk Talk live from View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn, downtown Iowa City. Week 4 of the college football season is upon us, and it is special because from here on out, it's 9 Big Ten opponents in a row. 9 collisions on a tough schedule that features the likes of Penn State, Oregon, Indiana, all coming to Kinnick Stadium, and road dates with the Southern California Trojans, the Wisconsin Badgers, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They've already been to Iowa State. But for the conference, it all starts Friday night with the Rutgers Scarlet Knights out in New Jersey. Game time is 7 o'clock here on the Hawkeye Radio Network, 7 o'clock Iowa time. And we'll join you on the network at 5 p.m. for our pregame coverage. Lots of history with Rutgers. You know, the Big Ten was founded 128 years ago in 1896 by faculty and members from 7 universities. The first college game ever documented was 27 years prior to that, 1869, between Rutgers and Princeton, played in Piscataway, and Rutgers prevailed 6-4. So you could say the game was invented on the Rutgers campus, and look what the Big Ten has become since then. Good evening, everybody, and welcome again inside the View Rooftop on top of the Hilton Garden Inn, downtown Iowa City, for Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz, who will join us shortly. I'm Gary Dolphin, and you are welcome to reach us on Twitter, on Facebook. We'll give you those addresses shortly. We very much appreciate KCRG Channel 9.2 for televising our show again live this week and tonight, each and every Wednesday night of Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. This is Iowa's third night game of the season, and it's the Big Ten opener, naturally on the road. The Hawkeyes' last night road opener in conference play, I remind you, was just last year up in Minneapolis at the University of Minnesota. And how I remember that night, especially the second half, Caleb Johnson served notice of what he was going to become for the rest of the year. He had a huge second half. The Hawks rushed for, I think, as memory serves me correct, close to 300 yards, most of that coming in the second half. And they rolled it up on the Gophers in the second period and got out of town with a win. It's a blackout Friday at Rutgers, and Coach Greg Schiano, a veteran coach, a lot like Kirk Ferentz, they crossed paths in the National Football League a few years ago. Greg was the head football coach of the Miami Dolphins. He spent time at Rutgers as a head coach, left for the NFL. Prior to Rutgers' head job, he was on the Penn State staff. So he and Coach Ferentz know each other very well. They've crossed paths many times over the years. And he is Schiano is in his second stint with the Knights, and he is imploring the faithful all week to come out and support his team. Of course, the Hawks will have what we know as a pretty solid I-Club base out in the New York, New Jersey area on hand Friday night when they kick off at 7 o'clock. So it's a big week. It always is, of course, when you open Big Ten football. And beyond that, the plaudits have been flowing in all week for Kirk Ferentz on becoming the Big Ten's all-time winningest head coach. He finally got that record against the University of Massachusetts last week, and scoring 20 points in the first quarter certainly was a big boost, a big trampoline jump to get the Hawks to their second win of the young season. They're 2-1. Rutgers is 3-0. That's 5 straight years where the Scarlet Knights have gotten off to a 3-0 start. But as for Coach Ferentz, man, he is in some rarefied air now. Just for a proper focus, Coach now has 206 career wins. The all-time winningest Big 12 coach is, anybody want to take a guess? Bill Snyder at Kansas State with 200 victories. Of course, Bill and Kirk are off the same Hayden Fry coaching tree. Dabo Swinney is the all-time leading coach in the ACC. He's got 181 victories. Terry Donahue, for his time at UCLA, is the all-time Pac-12 wins leader with 151. And then, of course, sitting up there by himself on the mountaintop is Bear Bryant at Alabama. I'm not sure how many years the Bear was at Alabama, but it was a whole lot more than the 26 that Kirk has put in Iowa City. Bear Bryant has 323 career wins. So in the SEC. So my advice to Coach was, hey, hang in there. You're only 125 victories behind Bear Bryant, so you're not about to retire anytime soon, and I don't think he is anyway. But to that point, congratulations to Coach Ferentz, and he'll be here shortly. He's the same guy. He hasn't changed one bit from last Saturday to tonight and going forward. Mary would never let him live high off the hog, nor would his kids. Iowa's defense has been magnificent. The first 3 games of the season, the Hawks are allowing on average 10 points a game and around 200 yards of offense. And Saturday against UMass, the Hawks registered 5 sacks and 11 tackles for loss. Aaron Graves had 5 solo stops, including 1.5 behind the line of scrimmage. And, Aaron Gravy, as I like to call him, he said it's pretty basic. They didn't really change a whole lot in terms of defensive schemes. It's always, with Phil Parker, it's always stop the run, take an occasional shot on a blitz like right there, and then don't let them beat you over the top. Don't give up explosive plays. And once again, the Hawkeyes, with good pressure up front, had the UMass quarterbacks on the run for most of the night. They were playing with a backup quarterback, albeit a very talented backup quarterback. Their starter was injured and did not see the field that night. So the defense needs to do what it always does on Friday night out in Piscataway against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And the Hawks hope to get out of the gate at 1-0 in the Big Ten. Back to offense, quarterback Mark Gronowski. I was listening to Greg Schiano's press conference this week, and he called him Gronkowski. So right away I'm thinking Rob Gronkowski. It's easy to mess the name up, but it's for the record, it's Gronowski. Mark Gronowski. He talked about the short work week with a game on Friday night.
My schedule and the way that I'm watching film doesn't really change, but obviously the intensity has to heighten a little bit in practice this week, just because it is Big Ten play, and Big Ten's one of the best conferences in the country, and we got a lot of tough games ahead of us. But this week especially, just getting that first one under our belt is going to be really important.
You saw the more true Tim Lester offense, too. The Hawks scoring 20 points and rolling up a lot of yardage in that first quarter. Iowa wants to throw the ball all over the yard, but they're not going to get away from the run. That said, Gronowski talked about the quick strike offense.
Yeah, I was really excited heading into this game, the game last week, just because Coach Lester said that we were going to throw the ball a little bit more to start out drives and take a couple more shots downfield, and we really saw that on the first couple plays right there. I mean, we had a 40-yard pass and then a 20-yard touchdown pass. So to have that and kind of like light up the excitement in the stadium, have our defense kind of gain some more belief in our offense and knowing that we can make those big plays, I think it gave a lot of encouragement to a lot of guys around us.
Quarterback Mark Gronowski. Now he's not a me guy, but I'll pat him on the back here. He won his 51st career game. His of course second as an Iowa Hawkeye, but most of those wins came at South Dakota State. Back-to-back national championships. But with that 51st career win for Mark Gronowski, it moves him past Boise State's Kellen Moore for the most wins in FCS FBS history. And he's also tied with Cullen Finnerty of Grand Valley State College. That's a Division II school with 51 career wins. So that is a big deal. Mark is a fifth-year guy. He already has his mechanical engineering degree. He's working on his master's at Iowa. He's over 135 career touchdowns, more than 10,000 yards career passing. So he is a special individual, a terrific young man, and obviously a very good quarterback. And he's looking more and more settled in with each passing week, and hopefully has a better night on Friday than he had last week. And he had a very good week last week. We'll review the numbers a little bit later on. Okay, so that kind of sets the stage here at View Rooftop. And we thank you so much for tuning in on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We'd love to see you out here tonight, some Wednesday night. And it's a huge, another big, not a packed house. We've got room for you. There's a big crowd out on the outdoor patio. Why not? 80, 85 degrees today. It's perfect weather right now. Great panorama of downtown Iowa City and Johnson County in general. And we invite you to come on out. If you'd rather stay inside and look out through all the beautiful wide windows, check out your favorite game on the flat screens that surround us here. And Coach Ferentz will be here shortly. It's a big night, as usual, View Rooftop. We're here every Wednesday night for Hawk Talk. You can stop by on football Saturdays, though, as well, for a new experience unique to Iowa City. Immerse yourself in an invigorating environment with comfortable contemporary indoor and outdoor seating. Plenty of high-definition televisions for watching the game. They've got game day specials this Friday night and every game day. And, of course, live music. Come on out and enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate with a toasted VUE, View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in Iowa City. You can call for reservations. You got a pen and paper? Here's the number, 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650, View Rooftop. We're brought to you tonight by Hawkeyes. Every great season starts with a strong foundation. For farmers, that foundation is a healthy soil. And at Hawkeyes, we're restoring life to the soil with over 800 species of microbes, helping grow stronger crops, more profitable farms, and healthier communities. Hawkeyes, the future of farming starts here, and we know how Iowa farmers love the soil, and they take great care of it with Hawkeyes. Learn more at Hawkeyes.com. Stacy Mae Johnson, that name probably sounds familiar. It should. She's in her first season now as the new head softball coach at the University of Iowa, but she's a former Hawkeye star player and assistant coach, and she has a great history, a great lineage with Iowa softball under the Hall of Famer Gail Blevins. Stacy Mae Johnson is here to visit with us next on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield and our friends here at View Rooftop. Back in a minute.
Fall's the season for game plans and for powering through your to-do list with Steel. Whether you're mulching leaves or trimming back before winter, Steel tools help you finish strong. Trusted by pros, built for you. Steel, proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
At Mid-American Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Coach Ferentz. We're excited about the football season. Iowa Corn is pumped up for their season and their partnership with the Hawkeyes. When you drive to the game, support Iowa's corn farmers by selecting unleaded 88 at the pump. It's a fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet. It's worth the hype. Get pumped up with unleaded 88. Let's go Hawks.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Entertain your clients or employees each home game in Hawkeye Village. Presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. Packages include game tickets and catered food and beverage. Visit HawkeyeSports.com for more details. As a proud partner of Hawkeye football, Navigate Wellbeing Solutions is an employee engagement company helping organizations create more health and happiness in the communities they serve. Learn more at NavigateWell.com.
We're back on Hawk Talk. Welcome in again, everybody, to View Rooftop here in downtown Iowa City. Bunch of great Hawk fans here. Some brought a cake tonight for Coach Ferentz on his 206th win. The L&L girls, Lucy and Louise, the mayor of University Heights, always welcome here. So when I get a speeding ticket running through University Heights, when I'm 3 miles over, I'm going to call you, Louise, just so you know. On my way to Finkbein. No, I obey the speed limits. If you'd like to reach us tonight on Hawk Talk and talk to Coach Ferentz directly, you can do that here on the Hawkeye Radio Network, on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. We have a text line now. The U.S. Cellular text line is open, 319-853-8344. And you can even email us your question. We'll get that on at HawkTalk at HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. HawkTalk at HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. We've got a bunch of Facebook, Twitter posts, one on the U.S. Cellular text line as usual, but we could use yours as well. And then, as always, we want to thank very much KCRG 9.2, Aaron Rooney, the producer-director. Deke and Mike are here. They're in the backdrop there, and they're beaming our signal, our show all around eastern and central Iowa. up and down the Mississippi River. So thanks very much to KCRG. They've been a fixture for many, many years where Iowa Hawkeye athletics is concerned, including softball. And it's a delight to welcome in Stacey May Johnson. Is in her first year. Give Stacey a hand. Absolutely. Coach Johnson in her first year as head softball coach at the University of Iowa. Former star player and assistant coach Stacey May Johnson played at Iowa from 2003 to 06. A three-time All Big Ten selection. 2003 Big Ten Freshman of the Year. And in that year, May Johnson was a part of the Big Ten regular season and tournament championship teams. And she still ranks in the top 15 in program history in career games played, runs, hits, doubles, home runs, RBIs, and batting average. Is there anything left out on the offensive side of the softball that she isn't a part of? You're a Midwesterner. You're a Reno, Nevada, or born and raised in Reno, Nevada. But you are, you told me when we did a Zoom interview a few months ago, you are a true dyed-in-the-wool Midwesterner.
Yeah, I am. Maybe it's honorary, right, because this isn't my birth state. But, you know, we love it out here, and this is a special place. The University of Iowa is a very special school, and I couldn't be more delighted to be back.
Gail Blevins is such a interwoven in the very fabric of college softball. Hall of Famer. You played for her. There was multiple reasons you came to Iowa to play for her. Give us a few.
Well, she was a champion for one. You know, when you talk about, you know, Midwest toughness, you talk about grit, you know, you talk about never quit. I mean, those were the things that we learned. You know, that was the identity. That's who we were. You know, obviously great on the mound, but, you know, at our core, we were just tougher than the other teams. And all of her teams were like that, you know. So, you know, I got the privilege to play for her for my 4 years. I learned a lot. I learned a lot both as an athlete and as a coach, things that I've used, you know, many years later. And so, man, I just, you know, I look back on it, I think, man, I was lucky. I didn't know that at the time, but I look back on it. I just so lucky to be a part of her program.
Well, those were all championship caliber, upper rung of the Big Ten First Division years. What did she bring to the table? And we've had this conversation. I think you always list toughness right at the top of your top 10. But what did she bring to the table that made Iowa so successful?
Yeah, she just had a drive, you know, and she just had a way of getting more out of people. I think she recruited the in-state athletes and obviously picked her spots, people like me outside the state, but she brought the best talent from this state and she molded it into a team and made it a great team year in and year out. And I don't know, I mean, there was just some magic to that, you know, because it just happened over and over and over. And so at some point you can't argue it. You know, people might say, well, you know, shouldn't have this person on the team. Well, listen, all I know is that when we all came together, we were really, really good. And the one thing that was consistent over that period of time was Coach Blevins.
And she's a Hall of Fame coach, so we really don't need to defend her. I mean, she's a proven commodity, and there aren't many Hall of Fame coaches out there, Stacey, as you know. You had to have great teammates, so there's that thing called chemistry, and obviously you guys had that.
Yeah, we did. And we had Lisa Baracci-Bance was inducted into the Hall of Fame recently. Obviously, you know that. She came in and talked with the team before her induction. And she talked about, you know, what was the recipe, what made those teams so special. And the thing that Lisa talked about was, you know, even if we didn't all like each other off the field all the time, when we stepped between those lines, we were one unit. You know, we flew together. And so it was so good to hear that, and it reminded me, it kind of brought me back to our time here. And but I think that was really a true depiction of what those teams were.
You came here from Fresno State. West Coast softball is great. We all know that. You brought a couple players with you, and you brought a couple coaches with you. Talk about those folks.
Yeah, so Coach Bobby Alvara came with us. He's our pitching coach, men's fast pitch guy. Great personality. He's loving the Midwest, even though he's a California guy. They keep warning him about the winter, but he's still in flip-flops. So, you know, but thrilled to have him on board. And then Soraya Neese, wonderful pitcher in her senior year. She's got one season left. She's going to come and win some ball games for the Hawkeyes. Just a wonderful, wonderful young woman who's going to be very successful on the field, but is also going to embody what it means to be a Hawkeye. And then Kiara Sipe, very talented young middle infielder. She play anywhere on the field defensively, makes you better with her athleticism, and really nice developing hitter. I think we've got 3 years with her, so the sky's the limit. And this is just the beginning, but we've got some bright things ahead of us.
Hawkeyes new softball coach Stacy Mae Johnson. She's been here for 6 months, so she's settling in nicely. Coach, you've got 6 transfers and 8 freshmen, I read, and 12 Hawkeyes returned from last year's crew. How do you balance all that with NIL, transfer portal? I mean, it is a chess match, mix master. It's a game of cards.
Yeah, well, we're trying to instill a culture here, and that culture it's a self-sacrificial culture. It's a culture where the team comes first and I come second, and that's true of all of us. And certainly that's rare in this day and age. That is rare. But I look at this crew, and I think it really does start with the returners and their mindset coming into this. They want to be great. They're hungry, and they're at a great spot to be coached. And so they are really setting the tone for that type of culture, for that type of environment where, again, in a world where it's all about me and everything, what am I going to get? And have a team where we're looking out for each other and the best interest of the people to our left and to our right. And so we're excited. It will be a process to instill that type of culture and to rebuild some of our mindsets and our thinking, but we're off to a good start. Excited about this group.
That's great to hear. Now the meat and potatoes, the Big Ten schedule is in the spring, of course. Your conference schedule is out. It's been released. You've got Minnesota, Washington, Indiana, Purdue, all in Bob Pearl Field, and equal juggernaut of a schedule on the road. But you have a fall schedule coming up. Actually, it's started on September 12th, but you're playing a lot of teams in Iowa City. Tell us about that. That kind of gets you ready for the winter conditioning period, and then spring will be here before you know it.
Yeah, so 8 games on our fall schedule. We've got 4 against community colleges, 4 against Division I's. So we'll play the in-states as always, the Big Four. This year it's up at UNI, and then we've got Illinois State coming here to Iowa City. So those are the 4 Division I games, and then we'll check out the junior college talent here Friday, Saturdays on the weekends, and we'll get a good sense of who we are. We'll grow. We'll get our pitchers out on the mound. Especially the young ones. We get a couple freshman pitchers, so see what they can do and get them comfortable. But we're in the learning phase. A lot of times you walk into a team and you kind of have a sense, okay, well, this person is probably going to play there, or that person's. I mean, this is a blank slate. We might have an idea, but this is a totally blank slate. And so it will be a learning process to figure out who's going to go where and what are our pieces. That's just the reality of the first year. But the team has been very receptive and very excited about, honestly, the change in coaching and the direction of the program.
Everything's new, right? Just hit the ground running, and I know you will. I always enjoyed for 25 years driving to Fort Dodge and Harlan Rogers Complex to broadcast high school state girls softball tournaments, and really the competitiveness is second to none. How is high school softball in this state now in that summer schedule?
Well, to this day, that is the best environment state tournament in the country. There is no state tournament in the country that competes to that. I heard one of the assistants from the University of Washington tell me it was on his bucket list to go to the Iowa High School State Tournament.
Really?
And so that kind of gives you an idea of, what we have here is not common. I think the athletes in the state of Iowa have tough decisions of, do I play club, do I play high school? But there's still, a lot of them that do choose to play high school. The talent is still there, and maybe it got like splintered a little bit because some of those athletes do go to club ball, and we understand the decision. It's hard. But having said that, in this state, they show up, they play 7 innings, there's a winner and a loser. We don't always see that on the club ball scene. And so, as we talk through that question with a lot of our recruits, they'll say, well, if we go club, we might see pitchers that throw a little bit harder. That's true. I said, but how about this? What's the value in coming up in the 7th inning with the game on the line? You're not going to get that,
exactly.
But you're not going to get that unless you play high school ball. So, I just bring people a different perspective. I think that this state is still incredibly competitive when it comes to high school ball.
Coach, we wish you all the best. Thanks for coming by tonight here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. Get those recruits to Kinnick and Carver. That's always usually a a deal sealer, as I like to say.
Have you been reading our recruiting itineraries?
I have. That's you're pretty busy,
yeah.
But that includes a football or basketball
That's
game.
right.
I know.
That's right.
Or a wrestling match, for that
We're
matter.
there too.
Thanks, Stacy. Thanks for coming
Thanks
by.
for having me.
Coach Stacy May Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Iowa's one of Iowa's all-time greats, and certainly a future outstanding coach as she cuts her teeth here at the University of Iowa. Okay, we're at the top of the hour. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. 10-second ID break here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We're live at View Rooftop. Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz resumes after this 10-second station identification. Outstanding stuff from Coach Stacy May Johnson and Hawkeye softball. By the way, the Hawks will play September 20th. Coming up in a few days, Iowa Central Community College will be here. That's at noon, September 20th. Coming up shortly. Just checking to see who else is coming to Iowa City. Northern Iowa, NI Area Community College, Northern Iowa Area Community College. Illinois State will be here October 11th. And DMAC, Des Moines Area Community College, on October 17th. Take in softball on a weekend as part of your fall activities. Throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. On behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we want to salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like our top athletes, our state leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. Go to iowacorn.org. iowacorn.org and learn how corn grows Iowa. Coach Ferentz will be joining us here momentarily. We'll step out, take a break, come back with more football Hawk Talk in just a minute from Learfield and View Rooftop.
Hello, Hawkeye fans. This is Bruce Gerlman, and I own Jethro's Barbecue. Have you heard the news? It's really big news. Jethro's Barbecue is now open in Coralville. That's right, across from the Hawkeye softball diamonds on the Coralville Strip. Jethro's is your game day headquarters. Call ahead and order your tailgate barbecue from Jethro's. Before the game, during the game, after the game, stop in Jethro's and eat my amazing slow-smoked wings and my world-famous baby back ribs.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment. Knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to wellmark.com/everymoment to find a plan right for you.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less growing and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
Entertain your clients or employees each home game in Hawkeye Village. Presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. Packages include game tickets and catered food and beverage. Visit HawkeyeSports.com for more details. As a proud partner of Hawkeye football, Navigate Wellbeing Solutions is an employee engagement company helping organizations create more health and happiness in the communities they serve. Learn more at navigatewell.com.
The Hawkeyes and Rutgers on Friday night. Boy, I'm having a tough time getting used to saying Friday night. Usually you think of Friday Night Lights, you're talking high school football, but you know what? In this new TV world that we live in, they're playing almost every night of the week. But that's okay. Hawks will show up out in Piscataway on Friday night, 7 o'clock Iowa time for the kickoff, and 5 p.m. on your drive home. Unless you're going to the game, you can tune in the Hawkeye Radio Network. We'll be on the air at 5 o'clock with our pregame coverage. And thanks again to Stacey May Johnson, Hawkeye softball coach, for joining us for a few minutes tonight. Now we're talking nothing but Iowa football from here to the end of the program. Coach Ferentz will be here shortly. I think I mentioned at the top of the show, Iowa's defense has given up 10 points a game and 200 yards or less in the first 3 outings in this 2-1 start. They had 5 sacks and 11 tackles for loss last Saturday, and yet Mad Max Llewellyn says, hey, we got to clean up the details.
I think, looking back, fall camp, we said we were a hungry group of people, and I think we've shown that, we are hungry, and, I think we just got to clean up the finer details, communication, all that good stuff, but, really like what I see so far.
That's Max Llewellyn. What a start he's off to this Iowa front with Graves, Llewellyn, and, of course, Herc, Ethan Herkett at the other end. They're platooning a couple defensive tackles, a couple transfers, and they've been solid. So they're getting a push up front, and that really helps everybody else. How about Massachusetts was 0 for 8 or 0 for 10 on third down last Saturday, and that hard-hitting safety cashback Zach Lutmer says we got to keep progressing 100% on third down stops.
Yeah, I think every week we're progressing. We're working on something. I think week 2 we couldn't get off the field on third down. We didn't play our best. We were 40-some% on third down. Going into last week, I think we were 100% on third down and fourth down. So that's kind of the emphasis, emphasizing something every single week. Just trying to progress and improve every single day.
Special teams. It was, we're not used to seeing Iowa have a punt blocked and some missed tackles thrown in, and we're certainly not used to Drew Stevens missing anything. The All-American kicker missed a field goal that I thought he had tucked. When you look at the replay, it looked like he tucked that thing in inside the right upright, but the officials are looking at it at real time. They said it wasn't good, and they waved it off. But the big picture, Drew Stevens is within 1 field goal now. He's got 60 career field goals. He's one within Michael Meyer, who's all-time second with 61, and he's now within 7 field goals of the great consensus All-American kicker Nate Kading for number 1, first place on the all-time list. Our Matt Randazzo sat down with Drew Stevens earlier this week.
When you look at the all-time records here at Iowa, your name is continuing to move up those lists, and I know you don't focus on those kind of things. How do you balance, winning and performing for this team, and also knowing that there's some pretty special moments that could be coming in the near future for you individually?
I don't know. I came here I wasn't going to come here and be like, okay, I just want to be another guy. Like, I obviously came here, like, with the mindset, like, hey, I'm going to be the best. Like, and that if everybody approaches it that way, I feel like you can always do special things. And plus, that's, like, something we preach here is, like, you're always trying to do your very best.
Obviously, you know how to prepare here at Kinnick Stadium to kick. What's it like on the road? What's your pregame routine, ritual like when it comes to getting ready to kick in whatever environment you're going to this week out at Rutgers, obviously?
Honestly, I like road games because, I don't know, I really like being like the bad guy sometimes. Don't get me wrong, like a game winner at home is not toppable, but I mean, honestly, like you might think like, oh, when the crowd's like really loud, like the noise is really crazy. Actually, it's almost like it makes you focus like more, because it's almost like there's so much noise that it's almost like a blur. So there's no like individual like things you can hear or like that can maybe like throw you off. I honestly think it's easier personally. Like,
do you get out there early? Do you try to figure out wind conditions and those kind of things when it comes to getting ready, or is the ritual or the routine the same as it would be at Kinnick Stadium?
I would say the routine is probably the same. A lot of that comes with our scheduling. It's usually we get to the stadium like 2 hours before, I think. And then I'll go out there for like 30 minutes before I'm like needed for like the primer or anything, like in terms of actual like scheduled warm up, because they give us like that buffer room for guys who want to do like their own thing, maybe to get them more ready for the game. But I like to go out like beforehand and like walk the field, like envision like different kicks like going through. So I mean that's kind of what I do, but regardless of where I'm playing, I even do it at Kinnick too. So I mean, yeah.
There he is, our All-American kicker, Drew Stevens. What a career he's had. Coach Ferentz just walked in and sat down, and he beats to a little bit different drum, but then all kickers do.
That's part of the game, I think. And to me, it's a little bit like baseball. Specialists are, and the relief pitchers are out there in their own, the bullpen back there, and not always part of the team. And it's interesting if you really look at it, the amount of practice time and what have you. You can only meet so much, and those guys don't have as much on their plates meeting-wise, the specialist I'm talking about now. Special teams players have a lot to work on, a lot to do. So they spend a lot of time just working on their skills, their crafts, and obviously it would be very counterproductive and unhealthy for a guy to go out and kick for an hour, 45 minutes, or 2 hours straight. That would not be productive at all. So they do various things during the course of practice. LeVar does a great job getting those guys a good plan to follow and all that type of thing. But it's a whole different psychology, a whole different regimen than a guy who plays right guard or, linebacker or something like that. It's just a whole different world. But all these pieces have to come together to have a good football team. And just like in baseball, it's tough to win without a good bullpen. And, I feel so fortunate. I think all of us do, the fact that we've got, one of the best kickers in the country, if not the best, one of the best return guys in the country, and a young punter who's on his path of becoming a really, I think, top-notch talent. Also, I'd actually say he already is one, but he's going to keep getting better and more consistent as he goes. So we're very fortunate there.
Drew Stevens is really in some rarefied air. He's one field goal behind Michael Meyer now, and he wasn't bad. Yep. Talk about range and depth, and within 7 of Nate Kading, and numbers are numbers, but talk about Drew's development in his 4 or 5 years at Iowa. He's really come a long way, hasn't he, from day one?
No question, and that's more typical of players in our program than maybe some others. And all the guys you talk about, Mike Meyer, Nate Kading, although Nate got off to a pretty hot start right from the get-go, but naturally he was a better kicker his senior year than he was his freshman year, and obviously a better kicker X amount of years into his NFL career. If you look at what just what his unbelievable career he had. So, but that's what good players do. They come in, and Drew was especially young when he got here. Left high school early, graduated midterm, and got here in January, and was physically not near developed like he is right now. And same thing in terms of just kicking in the college level. It's another step, and just if you're fortunate to go to the NFL, which I think Drew will be, it's another step too. But he's just handled it really adeptly for 4 years, and there may be a better field goal kicker, place kicker out there than Drew. I don't know who it would be.
Coach, while we're on special teams, you walked in right in the middle of Drew's interview there. We're not used to seeing a punt blocked at Iowa.
Yeah.
We're not used to Drew missing one, and I just mentioned I thought you look at the replay, looked like he tucked it in. Inside that right upright, but they're looking at the top. The officials are calling it at real time, so I get that. They're not going to get them all. But special team snafus, that's not in LeVar Wood's, and certainly not your dictionary, but it was a great night for special teams. Caden Weegen's a Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week, but some things to repair, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's a real contrast. Our return game was just about as good as you're going to get it, and Caden had a lot to do with that. Talk about another guy who's a tremendous performer. And, the other point, though, the missed field goal, it hit the crossbar, came back in, or the upright. Excuse me, and then field goal that normally is going to be, quote-unquote, routine. But I know There was a very prominent game this past weekend where quote-unquote routine PAT didn't make it, and a really big play in the game. So it's something we talk to our guys about all the time. There's no such thing as routine plays. You have to execute no matter what the circumstance is or whatever. In this case, a field goal or PAT, whatever the distance may be. It's all about the execution. And the minute you start taking things for granted a little bit, that's when bad things tend to happen. And occasionally bad things are going to happen anyway, but those are things we have to get cleaned up now moving into conference play. We're going to be involved in a lot of close games. And I've already played in one of those, and every little thing adds up and makes a difference. So that's a big part of this week, was just making sure we're all focused on the right things, appreciating and realizing that it's a smaller, shorter window to get ready for the game. Our opponent has the same challenge. So it really gets down, I think, to really being detailed in practice, maybe at a heightened level, which you should be doing anyway 4 weeks into it, and then factor in we're entering Big Ten play, so hopefully that's all part of the progression.
I'm going to ask Aaron and KCRG 9.2 to re-rack Caden Weegen's punt return. Describe it from your viewpoint. He goes back to the 5-yard line. I said to Anger, I said, boy, 95 yards. He said, well, most punt returners will let it hit at the 5 and go in the end zone. What are you seeing with this return?
Well, yeah, I'll start with that point. I mean, the first thing he's trying to do is field the ball because he wants to return the ball. And as elementary as this sounds, I swear to God, the longer I've done this, you look back at guys who are really good linemen here. They're good blockers because they want to block. Yeah. Jack Campbell wanted to tackle a guy, and Josie Jewell and Pat Anger. So those guys are pretty good at it. And to be good at something, you've got to. It starts with really wanting to do it. And Caden wants the ball in his hands. I mean, he wants to go. And being a punt returner is that's a daredevil type job. There's a lot of stuff going on back there. A lot of people flying around, and you're looking at the football and you have no idea what's going on ground level. So it's a really unique skill and ability to do that. And Weege has done a great job. And we just talked about Drew's process, so I'd say the same thing about Caden. I mean, we didn't have full trust in him a couple of years ago, and right now I'd rather, there's nobody I'd rather have back there, maybe in my entire career. This guy just wants the ball, and he goes hard.
Ed Podolak, who was one of the greatest punt returners, special teams players ever in the history of the game.
Maybe one of the biggest punt returners, too.
Oh, man.
Gosh.
Whether it was, that Christmas Day longest game in history against Miami or at Iowa. But I asked him one time, I said, well, what's more difficult, punt return or kickoff return? He did them both. He goes, no question, buddy boy, it's punt return, because that thing's up there 10 stories high, and you can hear the football cleats coming down the field at you, and you don't dare take a long glance at them because you got to make sure you got the football, look it in, and most people call for fair catch. And I kind of stuck my foot in my mouth the other night. I said to Anger, I said, you're telling me nobody ever returned a punt 100 yards for a touchdown in Iowa history, not even Niall Kinnick? And Anger goes, well, most guys, they know where they're at, and on the 5-yard line, they're going to get away from the ball and hope it goes in the end zone for a touchback, not Caden Weegen.
Sometimes even further out than that, actually, because it's just, it's bad practice to field one back there. But, yeah, he knew what he was doing, and, again, it's been so fun to watch him play. He's an electric player. And one thing I'll point out, too, you talk about Ed Podolak being back there. When Ed was playing, they didn't have a lot of protection rules for the guy fielding the ball. So not that they're totally protected now. There's a lot of bang plays you see. So it takes a lot of courage to field the ball and then return it. But when Ed was playing, forget about it. I mean, it was just like being a quarterback then too was not exactly the safest place to be.
And they could hit you just as the ball arrived, and if you didn't fair catch, boom, see you later. Caden Weegen this week, Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week, go figure. But now he's one of the few in the history of the game that has had in his career, has had a kick return and a punt return for a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. That tells you how aggressive and how valuable he is.
Pretty amazing. I mean, think about that, how tough that is to do. And one of the categories, they had him listed, several of them in there. Bill Happel and he were both at 95. But there was one category in there where Niall Kinnick was included, too. So it's pretty good company to keep as well. So it's just... and the best part is it's just getting started. We're 3 games into this right now, and he really enjoys what he does and does a wonderful job at it.
Coach is available to take your questions on Twitter or Facebook. Once again, you can reach him on Twitter at Gary Dolphin on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. U.S. Cellular text line is open, 319-853-8344, or email your question to hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. Or you folks from the View live audience here tonight, you're welcome to come up and ask Coach a question or relay it to us, and we'll pass it along to Kirk here when we come back from our break. Entertain your friends, clients, or employees at any or each home game in Hawkeye Village. Presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. Packages include game tickets and catered food and beverages. Just visit HawkeyeSports.com for more details. Navigate Wellbeing Solutions is an employee engagement company helping organizations create more health and happiness in the communities they serve. Learn more at navigatewell.com. We're coming to you live from View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. You too can experience a high-energy rooftop bar with spectacular views of downtown Iowa City and Johnson County. VUE, View Rooftop, features a distinctively modern escape filled with a unique outdoor design. View Rooftop is located on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden Inn, with specials on Hawkeye football game days, including Friday night from Rutgers. View Rooftop provides a memorable experience of food, music, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline. Just call 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650 to set up your View Rooftop reservation today. And we'll come right back and go to Twitter and Facebook with your question or posts for Coach Ferentz in just a minute from View Rooftop in Learfield.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Zach Tweet. Support Iowa's corn farmers by pumping it up with Unleaded 88. It's the clear choice at the pump to fuel your drive to the game. Unleaded 88 is cheaper, greener, and homegrown. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Let's go Hawks.
Hi Hawk fans, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. Hard work, resilience, commitment. That's what it takes to succeed, whether you're battling on the football field or working the farm fields. With fewer than 5% of Iowans making a living off the land, the Iowa Hawkeyes are proud to stand with Iowa's farm families who work hard every day to feed and fuel yours with dedication and care. For 40 years, our players have proudly worn the ANF logo on their helmets. It's not just a symbol, it's an important reminder that farmers are the backbone of Iowa and the heart of our country. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate 40 years of America Needs Farmers on ANF Game Day, October 18th. And don't miss your shot to win the ultimate ANF fan package. 4 reserve seats, sideline access, and an autographed football. Enter now at americaneedsfarmers.org. Thank you for standing with Iowa's farmers. We'll see you at the game.
Your Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team is serving up Big Ten excitement this fall at Extreme Arena.
Winning stall catches the back line. The Hawks win it 25-21, and they take it in straight sets.
With fast-paced action and fun for the whole family, Iowa volleyball is the perfect way to spend an evening. Season tickets are on sale now. You won't want to miss out.
And that'll go for a block.
For more information on tickets and the 2025 season, check out HawkeyeSports.com.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Your Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team is serving up Big Ten excitement this fall at Extreme Arena. Season tickets are on sale now. You won't want to miss out. For more information on tickets and the 2025 season, check out HawkeyeSports.com.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk, live from View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City in the Hilton Garden Inn. welcome to come on out tonight. We're here each and every Wednesday, other than bye week, on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from 6:30 until 8 o'clock. It's the Hawks and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights opening up Big Ten play on Friday night at 7 o'clock kickoff time, 5 o'clock for the pregame coverage here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And we're hearing from Mark Gronowski a little bit earlier, Coach, before you got here. He's excited for the offense to keep moving forward off the big win over UMass last week.
I think there's a lot more to show and a lot more to improve upon and grow. We've been running the ball really well. I mean, last week I think we had over 400 yards of total offense, which is awesome. That's a great offensive week. But I still think that there's a lot more that we can do in the pass game. We can continue to stretch the ball downfield, and on that side of things, when we start stretching the ball downfield, it opens up our run game. And then when our run game starts opening up, it starts opening up our pass game. So it's kind of that back and forth that you got to continue to balance, and that's what I really like about what we have here in our offense, is that it's a really balanced attack. We're trying to be 50-50 as much as possible, and obviously game plans and how the scores are going in the games can affect that a little bit, but it's really great to have that balanced attack.
Mark's he's got a lot to process when he breaks huddle, and he told me earlier in the fall camp that the most important thing to him is when they break huddle at this level anyway, and at all levels of football, but he was still learning how to play in this environment, is my pre-snap reads. I'm always looking for those pre-snap reads before I ever put the line down. I mean, that's how great quarterbacks think.
Yeah, there's a lot going on out there, and between plays, certainly, and this offense has a lot of verbiage, and it's a derivative of the West Coast offense. So, a lot of wordage, verbiage, words, etc. But the bottom line is, he's from the time he breaks the huddle until the ball snapped and then through the end of the play, he's got a lot going on in his mind. And playing quarterback's never been easy, but part of that is reading the defenses, trying to get pre-snap reads. Every guy in the offense is trying to do that, and as is the defense. So there's a lot of cat and mouse going on, and some teams disguise things a little bit better than others, and always a challenge.
And he and Tim Lester certainly seem to be on the same page, though.
They do, and Mark's just, I can't say it enough, what an impressive young guy he is. Just been a great fit in our program. It's like he's been here for 4 years, just a really strong leader. Has a great presence, great awareness. He's very humble, and most importantly, he just works extremely hard, and that's, I think, why his teammates respect him so much.
Coach, speaking of good quarterbacks, you're seeing one Friday night in Rutgers uniform that we're very familiar with. Ethan Kaliak-Manis started out at Minnesota, transferred to Rutgers, 2 seasons ago now. Threw for 309 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. He's gotten better with each passing season, and I know the Iowa defense has given him trouble in the times we've faced, whether he's at Minnesota or Rutgers, but he's one of the better returning quarterbacks in the league this year, without question.
He really is, and we've seen him a couple of years now, and either on the game field or from afar. Yeah, and I think really the story with him, we talked about players getting better earlier in the show here about, Drew and some other guys, Weege, and same thing here. And playing quarterback, again, is experience is so important for everybody. And he was a good player 2 years ago, but he's playing at a much higher level right now. His completion percentage is very impressive, and it was okay a year ago, but he's really made a big jump there. And the coach he's playing for is an outstanding offensive coordinator. They were together, I believe, at Minnesota as well. So there's familiarity there. There's a little, chemistry going. And, Rutgers in general is just a very well-coached team in all 3 phases. I got a ton of respect for the program, and, we know we've got our work cut out.
And you and Coach Schiano, Greg Schiano, have crossed paths a number of times at different stops, both college and the NFL. And Greg's been around the block. He's been in some big-time programs and a head coach in the NFL, so he knows what he's doing.
He sure does. He took the program over, whatever it was, 2000 or 2001. He's been there 2 times as a head coach and did a great job. And I can just tell you from experience, being on the East Coast up until 1980, and then, being out there when I was in Baltimore and semi-Cleveland. But, Rutgers is not an easy job, in my opinion. Not that any of them are. I don't know if there is such a thing, but they were not exactly a household name when he took it over back in the early 2000s, and over time built that into a really great program. they had that really big clash. I think it was on a Thursday night, maybe it was a Friday night against Louisville.
Yeah.
Two very highly ranked teams. It was a great football game, but compared to where they were, the heights that Greg took them to was pretty impressive and got them to be a prominent member in the Big East at that time, then the Athletic Conference. And then obviously he's been back now 5 years and again has picked that program up. They had kind of slipped after he left, and he took a head coaching job in the NFL and then came back after a couple other jobs and has done nothing but a great job the last 5 years there. And he's slowly building a really strong program. So again, we total respect for them. They've got good players. They've got excellent coaches, and it's going to be a challenge here Friday.
Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from View Rooftop is brought to you by Steel. Get your yard ready for fall with the proven power of Steel. From cleanups to cutbacks, we've got the tools to help you win the weekend. Steel, a proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes. And we're brought to you by John Deere. John Deere loves to see the Hawks do their thing, because if anyone can appreciate building a legacy, it's Deere. They've been growing their winning team since 1837. So whether you're cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, nothing runs like a Deere. Let's go to Twitter. Coach Cody checks in. Did you at least get to indulge in some ice cream last Saturday night to celebrate that special occasion, win number 206?
Of course.
Ice cream, ice cream comes up every year. Ben and Jerry's, right?
I mean, it was late, but still, I'm going for the ice cream. There's no question about that.
You didn't pour a St. Pauli girl over the top of it, did you?
Yeah, St. Pauli girls are off the list now. I can't find them anywhere. So if anybody knows knows where to get them, let me know.
My goodness.
I've shifted choices, but we're doing okay.
Well, I know you enjoy our sponsor, Bud Heavy, so that's always a go-to backup option. Coach Craig, thank you, Cody, by the way, for the Twitter question. Craig wants to know, Coach, can you talk about Scott Pioli's role with the program and how valuable it is to have him around? And thank you, Craig. Scott Pioli has got college and NFL lineage, and you and Scott go way back in terms of player personnel.
Yeah, I do, and I'm only smiling because I'm not trying to put water on the campfire here, but a couple months ago that blew up like, we had hired him to be a full-time employee here.
Yeah.
Which is going on around college football in a lot of places. Former
like general
NFL,
managers,
Yeah, former NFL guys are coming in, taking those jobs, and working them 300-plus days a year. So that's not the case with Scott. Scott, to your point, Scott and I met in 1993 when I interviewed for the first time in Cleveland, and I had to come back for a second interview, but he drove me to the airport. He was the guy, hey, take this guy to the airport, and that was me. I was that guy. So, and he was very kind during the ride over. He said, hey, it wasn't that bad. It was bad, but not that bad. So that was his way of giving me a pep talk there. But
that's
anyway.
how he graded your interview?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was in the tank big time.
It was bad, but not that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. So thanks, Scott. Anyway, so we ended up becoming really good friends. We worked together for 4 years. And then he went on and stayed with Coach Belichick, New York Jets, and then ultimately the Patriots, and was, in effect, their GM. He's NFL Executive of the Year a couple times up there during the whole run. And Scott's a tremendous person, first and foremost. He's one of the best football people I've met, and, has just done a great job. So, no, he's... was at Kansas City most recently, and then ended up going with Thomas Dimitroff, who was a young guy in Cleveland. They were together down in Atlanta. And then a couple of years ago, Scott got out of that and just did some broadcasting and still does a little bit of that, but with the NFL Network. But basically, he's doing some consulting, and that's what he's been kind enough to help us out a little bit. And
great.
Tyler Barnes does all of our stuff for us. And I personally, I think I'd rather have someone in the college environment doing it. But Scott's been a great resource for us, great guy to tap into, and comes out here, a couple times a year and just, gives us a chance to bounce some things off him. Obviously, in this era of Zooming and all that, we have plenty of opportunities to communicate. But he's just been a great resource for us, and I just appreciate his help and interest in our program.
Done a phenomenal job with the Chiefs in building that program to what it is in the NFL, a juggernaut indeed. Appreciate, Craig, the question, though, about Scott Pioli. Brandon on Twitter, how do you feel about East Coast Friday night games? ? And that's not a loaded question.
No, not at all. So there's good and bad and everything, and you know, we've done a couple of these. I guess we've done an East and a West, and then obviously our last game of the year is always on Fridays. But most in the recent years here, we played out West last year at UCLA, and then in 21 we were at Maryland. So if it were the first or second week, I'd be really uncomfortable about it because it just takes a while for a team to get settled in. I think this actually comes up at a good time. It's a little bit of a change of pace for us, and it just kind of gets everybody on edge a little bit more, and that's okay. Forced heightened awareness and maybe just acute attention to detail. And then you're playing in a night game, so preferably I love night games at home. Other than you got to wait all day, but at least when it's over, you go home, and you're home very shortly thereafter. But any away game on the road is not my personal favorite, but the nice thing here is at least we'll have all day Saturday to recover, and we won't be playing, so we'll get middle of the night or early morning here Saturday morning, but we'll give the players a day off and just let them get their rest and come in and have a normal Sunday as we move forward. So that's the plan. But, my other little thing about Friday night football, I would really be not in favor of us doing one here as long as it's in the high school season. I just, to me, Friday nights are for high school football, and I just think we're getting out of our lane a little bit. But, I'm wasting time even talking about that because, we're in a revenue era right now. So TV's going to decide when and where, and we're just going to shake our head and say, yep, we'll be there, and we'll have a smile on our face and ready to roll. So, we're playing New Jersey, so I don't feel like I'm, violating our coaches in our state.
Impeding on high school football. Yeah. Although New Jersey's a great high school football state, no question. Okay, Coach, we'll let you catch your breath here. We'll take a break, come back with more Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. We'll go back to the Rutgers scouting report when we return, talk about the rest of that Scarlet Knight offense that's built up around 8th and Kellogg Menace, and talk about an improved Rutgers defense. That's ahead here on Hawk Talk from View Rooftop with Coach Ferentz in Learfield.
Hi, Hawk fans. This is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. Hard work, resilience, commitment. That's what it takes to succeed, whether you're battling on the football field or working the farm fields. With fewer than 5% of Iowans making a living off the land, the Iowa Hawkeyes are proud to stand with Iowa's farm families who work hard every day to feed and fuel yours with dedication and care. For 40 years, our players have proudly worn the ANF logo on their helmets. It's not just a symbol, it's an important reminder that farmers are the backbone of Iowa and the heart of our country. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate 40 years of America Needs Farmers on ANF Game Day, October 18th. And don't miss your shot to win the ultimate ANF fan package. 4 reserve seats, sideline access, and an autographed football. Enter now at americaneedsfarmers.org. Thank you for standing with Iowa's farmers. We'll see you at the game.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less growing and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
And then, who knows how many
Maybe
more.
longer.
Yeah,
Hayden.
yeah, who knows how many more. But.
Hey, we're back at View Rooftop, reminiscing a little bit about Coach Ferentz. 26 years at the helm, and we've got some people here that I think have not missed a show in 26 or 27 years. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Kirk presented with a nice cake tonight in honor of career victory number 206. By the way, you weren't here. I know you wouldn't do any research on this, but I did. I love history. So I thought, okay, let me just take the old Power Four leagues, the Pac-12, the Big 12, the ACC, SEC, and Big Ten, and who are the all-time winningest coaches in those conferences. And so obviously you now own the Big Ten record at 206. Bill Snyder is the all-time winning coach in the Big 12 with 200 victories. How about that?
I didn't know that. That's great.
Both off the Coach Fry tree.
That's awesome.
So it is. You want to take a guess on the Pac-12?
Oh,
I know he's a good friend of yours. You like him a lot, or liked him a lot when he was coaching and on TV. UCLA.
Neuheisel? No,
not right.
Terry Donahue.
Terry Donahue.
Yeah, sure. Oh, no kidding.
151 for Terry.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
ACC still coaching.
Dabo.
It's
gotta be. How about that?
180 for Dabo, and then obviously in the SEC, that one even I got off the top of my head.
SEC?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going Bear Bryant.
Bear Bryant, 323. So as I told you last week, you've only got 125 to go to catch Bear.
Yeah. So I got to do the math on that one. Yeah.
Well, hey, 10 wins a year, just another 15, 20 years, not a big deal. But I didn't have a chance to look up the old Southwest Conference. I would have been curious because that was a powerful league back in the day with when Arkansas and I'm trying to remember who Arkansas and Texas played every year for the Southwest Conference Championship. So
first names that jump in: Frank Royals or
Darrell Royal.
Yeah.
But anyway, of the four still in existence. Well, the Pac-12 is gone, obviously, but of the four still in existence, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, and ACC, you're right up there, trailing only the great Bear Bryant. But how the game has evolved, huh? From Bear Bryant's days in the 50s and 60s.
It has, but it hasn't.
Yeah, true.
I've got actually in a folder, which I've used with our team account on occasion. It's a long story how I got it, but it was a letter of invitation to camp to the players back in those days. Everybody went home in the summertime. They weren't on campuses. So it was a letter of invitation, and basically he spelled out, what his expectations were for what they were doing during the summer, and then more importantly, what they were going to do when they showed up in terms of attitude and all the things that were necessary. And basically the themes of the letter, that's why I shared it with our team. They're timeless. They're just, there's certain things in sports, or I think anything you do, if you're trying to do something that's really hard to do, like win championships.
For sure.
There's certain things that are required that are really non-negotiable. And again, you do homework and you read about some of the former great coaches, and I've read a couple books on Bear Bryant. There's no doubt he would have been successful in any era. Change the offense, change the defense, but the things that really make you truly successful, he had. Vince Lombardi's another guy comes to mind. I think he probably could have taken any job if he had an interest in it and been extremely successful. Everybody thinks about him being gruff, up grass drills, up downs, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot more to it than that, and he just had such an ability to understand people. And in a football team, you got people from all backgrounds, geographic, you name it. And he had an ability to pull people together and get them to work together and care about each other. So those things really are timeless. And the flavor of the day, offensively, defensively, all that stuff, it changes. But boy, is kind of cyclical too, as you know.
Yeah, you got to have a base discipline.
Yeah.
You know, the want to. I've always wondered. Would have loved to have sat down not only to interview Niall Kinnick, but Newt Rockne. I've read a book or two on Newt Rockne, and sit down with him and pick his brain on coaching philosophies.
I was going to say the advent of the Ford pass did change the game a little bit, so that's
he was right in the middle of it.
That's a big game changer. But yeah, you read now Kinnick's book, and I had it sitting on my shelf for probably a decade, or I don't know, maybe longer than that. Then Tom Moore kind of got on my backside a little bit about it, like you need to read it.
Yeah,
and I read it. And it was fascinating to read about Dr. Eddie Anderson too, and what he did when he came here. So it's there's a lot of good stuff, but it carries across generationally. It really does. Typically, what's good is good, and what isn't so good.
Yeah,
there's a reason.
And when Kinnick was playing, of course, he when he'd sprain an ankle or something, you just either play through it or don't play at all. But Eddie Anderson kept urging him to play, and they said that Eddie would. Dr. Eddie Anderson would show up in the locker room with his blood-stained apron on from performing several surgeries across the street at UI hospitals, throw the apron in and put his gear on and his cleats and run out to the football practice.
I remember Bob Brooks telling me that, actually.
Yeah, Brooks
get witness that. Yeah. Amazing.
I could see you doing a dual role like that.
Yeah, well, my job would be a little different.
Maybe a veterinarian?
No.
Neither?
No.
Okay. All right.
Really not qualified.
Well, let's talk about the special people in our life, Kirk, that are University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital kid captains. And this week, our U of I Stead Family Children's Hospital spotlight falls on Liam Bartleson from Altoona. Liam began having seizures just 2 days after he was born, and up to 200 seizures per day. Imagine that. He was diagnosed with a rare and dangerous seizure disorder. Traditional treatments weren't enough, so his care team at the U of I Stead Family Children's Hospital enrolled him in a CBD oil trial, dramatically reducing his seizures. Liam communicates through facial expressions and continues to thrive to this day with ongoing expert care at the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. Miracles happening every day.
They really are, and these stories are just every week. It's amazing, just amazing. And you want to talk about people who are doing something, like the people across the street. They're just absolutely fantastic folks, and highly appreciated, certainly.
Thank you, doctors and nurses at the U of I Stead Family Children's Hospital. All right, we'll go back to our scouting report on Rutgers. Also take some of your questions from the U.S. Cellular text line and Facebook. All ahead here on Hawk Talk from View Rooftop with Coach Ferentz and Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
Fall's the season for game plans and for powering through your to-do list with Steel. Whether you're mulching leaves or trimming back before winter, Steel tools help you finish strong. Trusted by pros, built for you. Steel, proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
At Mid-American Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
The Iowa Soccer Complex is home to one of the best programs in the country, the Iowa Hawkeyes. With free admission and parking, Iowa Soccer is one of the best family-friendly options around. The fast-paced action is sure not to disappoint. Find a match that works for you. View our 2025 schedule at HawkeyeSports.com.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less growing and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk, live from View Rooftop as we counted down to the end of another show here. About 10 minutes left in the program. Thank you so much for tuning in on the Hawkeye Radio Network tonight. We've got folks on the U.S. Cellular text line. Let's see, Gary, who's impressed you the most so far this season? I guess that's for me. Who's impressed me the most this season? Offense or defense? Well, defense, I haven't been surprised by anything. Hercott, Graves, Mad Max, Llewellyn, Hawthorne, Pace, coach. And we talked about this in the preseason. If that front could get a good push, then those inexperienced linebackers, at least from minutes played, would fit right in and get better week to week. The secondary's been, for the most part, solid, and I think it's played right out to fruition. So to me, I guess I've been impressed on the defensive side, leaving it over there. The cornerbacks, TJ and Deshaun, have elevated their game maybe a little quicker than I thought.
That's more than fair, and I think both corners have clearly played better than they've ever played here, and that's talked early in the program about Drew and go right down to Liswegian as a return guy. The good thing about experience and the good thing about guys that work hard and really pay attention, they do improve, and I think that's one of the fun things about college coaching versus the NFL. Not that those guys don't get better too, but it's usually not as dramatic typically. And but in college, it's you look from year 1 to year 4. It's night and day a lot of times. And but it gets back to they need structure and guidance, but it really gets back to the players and their investment and how hard they go and how much pride they have in what they do. And both corners, Deshaun and DJ, have done a really good job there. And then every one of those linemen you just mentioned up front is just, I think they're playing at their best, including Aaron Graves, who played a lot for 3 years ago as a true freshman. But he's just playing at a much different tempo right now. And what that tells you is, he's not sitting back saying, I got this figured out. He's working at it and getting better. So really pleased with that. I was concerned about our depth coming in last January, worried about our depth there. And we've added Jonah Pace from Central Michigan, and then Bryce Hawthorne, also from South Dakota State, teammate of Mark's. And those two guys have been great additions to our group as well. And then you got guys like Kenny Merriweather right now playing that a year ago probably would have got just blown over by a Steph Wind, and he's doing a really good job. So, and Brian Allen's playing much better too.
Yeah.
So having his feet on the ground. So all of a sudden, things are looking a little bit more stable there, and I think the linebackers have benefited from that, having a good group up in front. But it's going to be another level of challenge this week.
For sure. I've been waiting for Kenneth Merriweather to come on. He's got that athletic, lanky body that you'd love to see in your defensive ends. Offensively, the O-line's been solid. Xavier Williams, I guess, would be the young man who's kind of broken on the scene. Now, he's not going to play this week, and we'll ask Kirk about Kamari Moulton when we come back. After our final break to hear from our wonderful sponsors. You can tailgate at Kinnick this season, literally. Now available are the Kinnick Premium Tailgate Packages presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. It includes your tent, parking, cooler, and tables, all set up for you in the Krause Family Plaza and just steps from kickoff, steps away from kickoff in Kinnick. So let us do the work for you. Don't miss it. Go to HawkeyeSports.com/tailgate. HawkeyeSports.com/tailgate and join us for a Kinnick Premium Tailgate Party. One final break. We'll come back and wrap it up this week's show with Hawk Talk and Coach Ferentz from View Rooftop right after this.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less growling and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
Fall's the season for game plans and for powering through your to-do list with Steel. Whether you're mulching leaves or trimming back before winter, Steel tools help you finish strong. Trusted by pros, built for you. Steel, proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
You asked for all the extreme internet performance at an all-in price, and we listened. Get 1 gig internet with a 2-year price lock and everything included. Unlimited data for non-stop streaming, powerful Wi-Fi for enhanced coverage, built-in online threat protection, and internet equipment. All for just $65 a month for 2 years. It's the extreme 1 gig internet deal you asked for. Call 844-4FASTER or visit extreme.com for details. Offer available to new customers only. Price doesn't include one-time charges, tax, and government fees.
Gary Dolphin with Coach Ferentz. Again, our airtime is Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock here on the Hawkeye Radio Network for pregame coverage with Iowa and Rutgers. And if you're roaming around town here in Iowa City, our road or home away from home on road games for that first hour with Matt Randazzo is at Big Grove in Iowa City. 5 o'clock Friday, we'll have the first hour of coverage from Big Grove here in Iowa City. We'll have a special interview with Drew Stevens, and Iowa basketball assistant coach Josh Sash will stop by. Tyler's brother, and it's always great to see Josh. He's on Ben McCullum's staff, and boy, they're getting revved up and ready to go for a new year. Coach, you're without Xavier Williams for Saturday's game, but you hope to have Kamari Moulton back. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, we do. Kamari got back to practice on Monday and has had a good week of practice, and certainly a good addition. I'd rather not do a one-for-one exchange. It'd be great to get some guys back
for sure
and not lose anybody, but that's sometimes not realistic. So great to have him back on the field, and he's a tremendous young person, a really good performer. So we're going to need everything we've got when we're out there. It's going to be a tough challenge.
On Facebook, Coach Jazz Patterson has been outstanding at running back this season. Will he be getting more carries in the Rutgers game? Well, he's been solid, but you're pretty deep at that position even without Xavier.
Yeah, we've been fortunate, and it's week to week in terms of how things shake out. But we have total confidence in Jazz. One thing he's going to do, he's going to hit it as hard as he possibly can. So he's really had a nice career for us, and just are so glad he's on our team. But You've got him, you've got Kamara, you've got TJ, and then Nathan's also in the in the mix there. He'll be the fourth guy in, but it's a good group of guys.
All right, Coach, we got about 45 seconds left here. So here's a loaded question from Mark on Facebook. Coach, out of the 206 wins, which one are you most proud of as a program? I know I'd get a quick answer from you on that one.
Yeah,
it's hard to pick one.
It's really hard. It's impossible, actually. So, but one that jumps out was the Alamo Bowl win. It was just
it's the first big
kind
one.
of gave us traction. Yeah, it really, and I think it really carried us into the next year in a good way.
Well, I'll go back the previous year when the Hawks got the double overtime win at Penn State. Ryan Hansen, I think, had the pick.
I probably could list 20 games, so that's just how it goes.
That elevated from there. It's been mostly good. Coach, thanks. We'll see you at Rutgers on Friday night. And from View Rooftop, good night, everybody.
This has been Hawk Talk, brought to you by Steel. This fall, power up with Steel, a proud supporter of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Also brought to you by your Iowa John Deere dealers. John Deere loves to see the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if anyone can appreciate building a legacy, it's Deere. By your local Ford dealers. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist, made right here in Iowa since 1895. And by Mid-American Energy. Mid-American Energy is proud to deliver affordable, reliable energy to you all season long. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.